Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the Englewood Cliffs Mayor and Council. Today is September 12th, 2018. It's 8:24 p.m. And a big welcome to the Little League team here tonight, the 10U championship team. Welcome, and we'll speak more on that in a few minutes. Let's start our meeting the way we always start our meeting, with a roll call.
Mayor Kranjak?
Here.
Councilpersons Aversa? E. Park? Here. O? Here. McMorro? Here. M. Park?
Here.
Wu?
Here.
Borough Attorney? Borough Administrator?
Here.
Borough Clerk? And Superintendent of DPW.
Here.
Everyone's present, Mayor.
Great. So that we always start our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance, so I'd like the Little League team to lead us tonight, okay? So everybody please rise, face the flag. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would everybody please remain standing? Yesterday was September 11th, which marks the 17th year since the terrorist attacks in Manhattan, Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. Many people lost their lives, and we should always remember them and their families. So let's have a moment of silence. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, would you please read into the record the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting was given to the press and posted as required. Date and time of this meeting was legally given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. This notice is on file with the municipal clerk and posted on the bulletin board. Minutes of this meeting will be made available to the public upon the completion of typing and proofreading by the municipal clerk.
Thank you very much. Just going down the agenda, one thing I want to point out, people hear me say this every meeting, there's some new people here today. We have a community service project. We collect food for the Office of Concerned Food Pantry at St. Cecilia's Church in Englewood, New Jersey, right down the hill. There's a lot of people in Bergen County that could use assistance, and we try to gather food up in the foyer there, and then they pick it up in the morning and distribute it to people who need cereal and other non-perishable food items. So I encourage everyone to bring. If you forgot it tonight, it's still available till tomorrow morning. You can just drop it off at the police station here. And I thank everyone who has contributed. The Office of Concern calls me every month and thanks me profusely that we're such a big part of their need, and it's something good for us to do because we are all very fortunate here in Englewood Cliffs. So now, without further ado,
Mayor, we're waiting for one more player who's running 5 minutes late, so if the team, 2 minutes late, okay.
Okay, well, we could certainly just recess for a few minutes, or actually, we could do a couple other things on the agenda. How's that? Just let me know when that player gets here, although I'm sure it'll be obvious. So let's do correspondence. No correspondence for the period here, so that's one more item on our agenda. All right. Well, that's because we're not used to getting all these great banners up here. So now that I know you guys are always going to be champions, we'll keep some special cacks up there to be able to do this. Okay, so actually I like having the trophy here. It's the biggest trophy I think I've seen here in a long time. No. Okay, I will wait for that player to arrive. I think they need to play. Now, why don't we just recess for a minute? We're in recess, everybody can speak. Okay, so again, welcome to the 10U Little League team from Englewood Cliffs. You're a championship team. which is great. And I thank you for doing that. I think you guys did great. I thank your coaches and your parents. And I saw your coaches in action. They live for you guys, and it's amazing, the intensity and the strategy and your athleticism. I got to watch, who's the catcher? Raise your hand. One of you had a monster block at home plate in the game I went to see. It was a great block and stopped a run from scoring. So I'm so happy to see the children participating, the parents right along their side, and the coaches there. And I know it takes a lot of time, and it's greatly appreciated. So we want to present
I would
you
like
to
to
the
read
group,
some of
right,
her achievements first, and then we'll call them.
So I'm going to introduce Councilwoman McMorro. She's the chairperson of the Recreation Division here, and without further ado, go
Thank you,
ahead.
Mayor. Well, thank you. I'm so excited to see all of you again, and so proud of all of you. This is a great achievement, not just for yourselves, but for Englewood Cliffs. And we thank you for making Englewood Cliffs, putting us back on the map. And I'm looking at Tom only because I'm going to read the achievements, and I'm looking at his son, John. I remember when Tom, and I tell this story over and over, but I remember when Tom was up at the field practicing with his nephew, Rob. And it seems like it was yesterday. Rob Kaminsky, who is playing it's pro baseball now. That was back in 2006? 7, okay. And the same passion that he has now, he had, where's Joanna? He had with his nephew, right? You were single at the time, you weren't married, right? And I used to see him practice day in and day out with his nephew, and I'm like, that is just so incredible. And to see him now here, full circle, with his son and his family, and to do this again, it's incredible. It's just, thank you so much, Tom. You are one of a kind. So Albert, Kim, there are three managers, coaches, Mayor. Manager, Tom Polowitz. Coach, Albert Kim, and Coach, Leon Rosenfeld. If we can have a round of applause for that. And what they did for the mayor and council is they put together the highlights of their summer accomplishments. And this is how their summer went. Okay, so, they finished third out of 338 towns in New Jersey that participated in the 10U tournament. They're the first ever Section 2 champion from Englewood Cliffs, and only the fourth ever from District 6 in its 62 years. That's some accomplishment. Only third town to be section champion, including 12U Palisades Park and 10U Teaneck Southern. Incredible. First ever Englewood Cliffs win in the state final tournament. First, okay? Fifth District 6 champion from Englewood Cliffs. 10U in 2005, 10U in 2006, 12U in 2008, 10U in 2017, and 10U in 2018. These are incredible accomplishments, by the way. Final record of 11 wins and 4 losses. They lost the first game in each of the districts, sectionals, and states, which means they had their backs up against the wall in 9 win-or-go-home elimination games. Their record was 8-1 in those 9 games. Total run differential, 155 runs scored versus 75 runs allowed. And then 153 scored versus 57 allowed, excluding the final Lincroft game. Districts, 75 scored versus 20 allowed. Sectionals, 66 scored versus 25 allowed. States, 12 scored versus 12 allowed, excluding final game. 49 days from first official practice on June 12th to their final game on July 30th. In those 49 days, the team had only 7 days off from baseball. That's it. Okay? For example, no practice or game. They had a stretch of 42 days with only 3 days off in between. That is the definition of commitment and dedication, and that's a big reason why these kids continue to improve and put this run together, which really started last fall. Thousands of batting practice pitches, fly balls, ground balls, drills, and dollars spent at the batting cages. That's just some of their achievements. I just want to have another round of applause. I can't stop One of the things that I noticed and saw with this group, they just love to play, and they love to be together, and they just love to be doing baseball. It's just such a wonderful sight to see them having such a good time. And even after, there were the days where they lost, and as soon as they lost, boom, they were right back on the field playing again, smiles on their faces. It's such an achievement, compliment to their parents, families, everything. We have spoken, and I know that the council will be in support of this. I'm saying that knowing that everyone just can't say no to Little League and baseball. I spoke to the coaches. I want to do something special for all of these achievements, including the teams before them that had those wins in 5, 6, the years I read. We want to put together some sort of a tribute, statue, whatever, something at Whitty Field, so that no one ever forgets these achievements. We're here now, we're all applauding, but I want the kids after them also to see this is possible. This can happen with dedication and commitment and working hard. It can happen. The kids after them need to strive to do what these children did and achieved. And the only way you're going to do that is if you have something there that people can walk up to and say, hey, I want to do that. I want to achieve that. And they have to remember. So, we're going to do it without costing taxpayer dollars. We will raise the money somehow. But I just want to ask my colleagues if they will be supportive of that and that process.
Definitely.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. So with no further ado, we can all step down and we'll call up the team members and the coaches. Congratulate all of them.
Okay.
I'm going to call the coaches up, the manager. And we can have a round of applause. Our kids. No specific order, okay, guys? Number 6, center field pitcher, Austin Kim. Number 27, shortstop pitcher, John Fowler. Number 11, first base pitcher, Jake Rosen. Number 8, catcher pitcher, Ethan Dodd. Number 1, second base pitcher, Charles King. Number 13, first base catcher, Rick Sanchez. Number 7, third base, second base, Michael Kang. Number 10, left field, second base, right, right field is Pittsburgh. Number 24, right field, third base. Coaches to come forward and that, to come forward or three, and just, you know, nobody can tell a story better than the three of you, so if you could come forward and just...
I appreciate what the mayor and council are doing for us and for the kids. I think we're well deserved. You know, we have a lot of people tonight. It starts with, it actually starts with our Little League board, run by and President Rafi Jafford. Rafi here?
No,
Rafi Jafford. Carol, you summed up everything. I guess you got that maybe from Albert, who covered it up like that. But there's some pretty amazing accomplishments, you know, I mean, really. The amount of practice these guys put in, the love of the game, like you said, when they lose, they didn't care, they just come back and they played like, you know, they were children. They knew they were going to come back and do something. The backs were against the wall a lot. The dedication, we had practice in July 4th weekend, it was 100 degrees and 100% humidity, and every single kid showed up. You know, it's just the level of commitment that these kids showed is just amazing. It really is amazing. And to add on to what Carol said, so 338 towns participate in this. And for us to finish third, I think we have 5,400 people in our town. Man, is that close? Right, so we did a little research. Elizabeth Elmora has 130,000 people. Right? The 30, what is that? 30 times the size of us approximately? Little Prairie South Hackensack, 45,000 people. Teaneck, 41,000 people. Fort Lee, 38,000 people. Livingston, 30,000 people. Millville, 29,000 people. Cliffside Park, 25,000. And the list goes on and on. Like, we're a small town of 5,400 people. And, you know, I think the coaches get some props for this, but really, this is all about the kids. I mean, we're not, look at the size of these guys. They're not a big group, right? But they play with such heart and such passion, and they grind out everything. Every single game, someone steps up to the plate. It's really a team effort. And CJ Senator, like Carol said, the first game we lose against Teaneck, right? We come back, we have to win 3 games in a row. The kids win 3 games in a row. The sectionals come, we lose the first game to Almora. Our nemesis who beat us last year, they mercied us last year. So, what happens, we have to win 3 games in a row. We beat Woodridge 14-1. We come back, play Almora, beat them 13-2. Right? Now, eliminate them. That was our emphasis. Now we have to beat Livingston, who beat us last year in the sections. So we beat them 19-0. And then there's the game of the century. Like, you know, whoever came to that game saw a game like it should be on ESPN. So we thought we were going to have a cakewalk. It was beating someone 19-0, and then all of a sudden we were like, all right, this game is, you know, it's in the hand. Well, the game wound up being 13-12. We won, but we were losing 7-5 in the last game.
9-7 in the last
9-7 in the last game, and all lasted back.
Yes.
Right? We scored, everyone in the line, we scored 6 runs, right, to take a 13-9 lead. Now, they had to get up. They were a home team. And they scored 4 runs, right, to make it 13-12 with bases loaded, right? Austin Kim, I think, was on the mound. We put C.J. Senator in right field. They had the bases loaded and one of the better hitters up. Yeah? So the kid hit a streaming line drive. The kid hit a streaming line drive on Livingston. Tony Senator, CJ's dad, I think was in right field, crapping in his pants. CJ Senator, who took probably 500 fly balls and all the other kids, settles underneath it. The line wasn't an easy play. The line drive, catches it, falls down, and everyone bum rush. We run him and dive on top of him. It was the most amazing play, and it really was a sight to see. So I spoke with Leon and Albert, and when it was announced that Foley was hosting this, I started thinking, you know what, we might have a chance, you know, maybe to be a part of this. It'd be really cool if we had a chance. And we started in the winter time with practices. Not forget about the the amount of practice leading up to this, but the winter time is where it started. And every one of these kids bought in. There wasn't a kid that missed a practice. And lo and behold, we made it to the state finals, which is amazing. When you think about the history in the town, right? We have a professional baseball player, my nephew, that didn't win a sectional title here. We have these guys right here. They have something like Carol said, maybe look up to. Maybe I can be a, college baseball player, a high school baseball player, or who knows, a pro baseball player. It allows these kids to dream, right? Someone in this town did it. We just accomplished this. It's a great accomplishment. I just want to thank the coaches, Leon and Albert. I want to thank all the parents for putting up with us in all the practices. I want to thank Billy for that. He really wasn't the assistant coach whatsoever. He was the alternate coach. I want to thank all the council people who came. I know the mayor came to a game. I know Bill came to a game. I know Ed came to a game. It's really special. But what's amazing is Karen McMorrow. She came to, I think, 7 or 8 games, which is pretty cool. Because all the kids would say, hey, the mayor's here tonight, or, there's another Carol's here. It shows that you guys care about what we do, right? I mean, I know it's only baseball, but we love baseball. We enjoy it. The kids enjoy it. They're getting better. We had a blast. I think these kids will remember this for the rest of their lives. And there's a spirit about what we do and how the parents sit around at practices. When we win a game, Christine Senator dresses up as a hawk, which I love the spirit of you, Christine. I love that spirit of you, Christine. Seriously, that's awesome. There's just a good bond. It's a good feeling for a 5,400-person town to accomplish what we accomplished, these kids accomplished. To me, it's off the charts. It brings a smile to my heart. I'm super proud of them, and we all thank you for your support. Thank you very much.
Yeah, why don't you guys come down?
Okay, everybody come down, please. And we have to see every face, okay? So guys, everybody be seen, the players. Can you see everybody? All the players? Can you see everybody, all the players? John Paul. Get
We'll see you guys here next year. 11 years.
Oh, you guys too. Those are the kids.
Okay, Eric.
And then they some more
Now they'll stay up.
Now they're gonna stay up and try again. Now they're not gonna fall, watch. Huh? Yeah, isn't that cute? Aren't they cute? They sent me a rendering of something they want to build here. So, we should get that far. We really should.
Bronze statue.
There's a couple of different things. We want to maybe do it with some metal and some, we're thinking of that allows signatures in there.
Space.
Yeah. Put a billboard and steel. I'll show you. Fantastic. I'm gonna raise that. Okay. Here. Oh, thank you.
Ready? Right. Okay, so, couple things. Okay, we're back in session, everyone. Okay, we're back in session. Okay. So, couple of updates for you. Officer Oost's litigation complaint has been dismissed. Again, the other thing I wanted to update everybody on was the status of the recordings that were made by our police chief. As many of you know, Chief Chaffee started recording his interactions with me the day after I became mayor in 2016. Of course, he did not tell me that he was recording. I was not made aware of those recordings until Chief Chaffee sued the borough and others, including me, because he felt his civil rights were being violated. How ironic, then, that he would record himself violating our rights while enjoying his paid position here as police chief. His rights were never violated, I assure you. I challenged him on questionable things that he was doing and the department was doing, and those things that were brought to my attention. In the course of his own litigations, Chief Chaffee produced those documents that we requested information, and to our astonishing surprise, the recordings, over 120 of them, and we believe there's more, and we're trying to get them. The status right now is that he's refusing to turn over his borough-issued recording device. We own it, the borough owns it, for inspection, and he's refusing to do that. The court gave the parties until September 12th to come up with an agreement on the matter. No surprise, there was no agreement. So the court has scheduled a conference for October 1st to address the issue. So there's basically two people in the world who could release those tapes right now, Chief Chaffee and a judge. Think about that. Chief Chaffee also refused to comply with direct orders to turn over the recorder to the borough. Again, the borough owns it, and it should be in the borough's possession. His refusal is now the subject of a criminal complaint that the borough has filed against him for theft of borough property. Rules and laws apply to everyone. So he tried to use the recordings as a sword and as a shield. So the first thing he did after producing them was try to have them kept confidential. His own lawyer acknowledged that these recordings were not a good idea. His supporters clearly favor that the recordings never be made public. I hear it all the time from them. because that's how corruption can continue. Just about 3% of our population doesn't want those recordings released. The other 97%, I assure you, do want them released. I have disagreed and even conducted a straw poll. Everyone here last month got to vote by a show of hands, and there's a video of that. I encourage you to see it. About 90% of the people here wanted them released. Those opposed include the usual Chief Chaffee apologists: Ed, Gloria, Ellen, Karen Geiger, Debbie Sabari, Melanie Simon, Mike Marinuzzi, of course, also. It becomes comical. Mr. DiGregorio, you're going to have to leave if you do that again. In order to gauge the public's desire to know what those recordings contained, I then encouraged our citizens to let me know if they support the release of the recordings. Okay, for people at home, the noise you heard just now is Mr. DiGregorio yawning very loudly because he has better things to be doing, right? So it's very childish, but it's not surprising. So we want the recordings released, except for confidential information or attorney-client privilege information, or things that are sensitive for employees of the borough, because Chief Chaffee did not discriminate. He recorded everybody, but in his words, he did discriminate. The overwhelming response from our citizens is that they want the recordings released. And they should be. This should be made public so that everyone can hear the unlawful, sexist, hurtful, defamatory, discriminatory, xenophobic, and blatantly anti-Asian sentiments spoken by one of the highest-paid police department chiefs in New Jersey. I am here to protect our rights, the citizens' rights, and to not look the other way, as a few of you suggested. Alan. As you know, the political machine that I replaced after 42 years of one party, one family rule, has a history of targeting people, including me. I hope you get to listen to those tapes. So, what's interesting is that Karen Geiger of Eye on the Cliffs and Lynn Norton, the nonpartisan newsletter that you get in your mailbox and probably throw out, are well-known supporters of the political machine. And Chaffee, even though they laughingly claim they are nonpartisan. They both filed Open Public Records Act requests asking me for all communications that I received from our citizens in response to my question of whether they support release of the tapes. I sincerely believe that, as friends of Chief Chaffee, they are trying to gather this information in order to target our citizens through doxing and to create a chilling effect on our citizens' participation in democracy. I did not turn over any of our citizens' emails, and I will not. I will protect our citizens from the targeting by these people. Well, it's interesting, I read in the newspaper yesterday that the new New Jersey Attorney General, Gabriel Graywalt, who had been the Bergen County prosecutor, he became prosecutor the same month I became mayor, and we met at a breakfast, and we kind of laughed about how we inherited a lot of problems, and I just think that he didn't appreciate the problems he inherited, nor did I, but we're working through it. I think he tries, he's trying to do a good job, and he started an a government anti-corruption division of the Attorney General's office. And I know he reads about us because I read about him, and he's from Bergen County, so I encourage him to come to Englewood Cliffs and have a sit-down with me, and when we could go back over the last 2.5 years of our lives and kind of explain to him where we're at. That's all I have to say on this matter right now, but there's going to be more next month, I assure you. And what I want to do now is, of course, open to the public. Do you have a motion to open to the public? All in favor? Aye. Okay. If there's anyone from the public who wishes to be heard, please raise your hand. Let me recognize you, state your name, and then come up here and tell me what's on your mind. Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Dave DeGregorio, 165 Charlotte Place, Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey. I'm full of facts this evening. Fact. Taking Parisi sign down. How much did that cost the borough? A few $100s, maybe. And that was under the order of Mayor Kranjak. Removing and reinstalling Mr. Parker's memorial. And then moving it again, I guess, right? It was several $100s, correct? That's small potatoes. Hiring added personnel to the municipal government. That's probably a couple $100,000. So, conservative, Republican, Mayor Kranjak is not. He's spending our money like water. Lawsuits against Chief. He could have reached out, he could have been very nice, he could have worked with the chief, costing us probably upwards of millions of dollars in lawsuits. Taxes are going up, 9, 10, 11%. Largesse on the part of Mayor Kranjak, the Republican who's supposed to be conservative, not so conservative. 800 Sylvan Avenue. He appointed someone to the Planning Commission. That person had probably not too much experience, because that person made a wonderful decision to give Normandy such a hard time. How much is that going to cost us as a town, a municipality? All these fights. Oh, police chief I mentioned. Who else? And there's probably a lot more that I forgot. So, Mayor Kranjak, facts, facts, facts. No feelings. Facts, I'm telling you. And I'm telling all the residents. Facts. Everything could have been avoided. Has there been anything to raise the quality of life for our residents in town? It's impossible. It's impossible when you're in vendetta stage or vendetta mindset to be creative. Mayor Kranjak has not been creative. He has not increased the quality of life for anybody in this town. And you have Billy Wu, and you have Mark Park, and they're following. They need to be mavericks and say enough. A lot of it was caused by Carol McMurrow and her past history in the town. Stand up. Even if you're Republicans, stand up against things that are going to be negative. We've had so much negativity in this room, enough to cause World War III. Has it wasted money? Yes. Has it been prudent? No. Has it been leadership? It's a joke, leadership. This has not been leadership. It's been vengeance. Listen to the diatribe that he went through in the beginning. And next month, he's going to do the same thing. Let's give a speech instead, Mario, about what you've done positive in this town. You've done nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all, except maybe pave a street. We could do things in the innovative things all over. Let's convene an innovative committee, a vision committee. No vision, nothing. This town could rock. You failed us. Big time. Your contempt for people in this town and lack of respect for people that have participated and written and informed has been absolutely disgusting. And it has bordered on insanity. Thank you very much. I would hope that you would prove me wrong. I voted for you. It's the biggest disappointment in the world. I thought you would reach across the aisle and do some positive things. So far, zilch. Except, congratulations to a very positive winning baseball team. Congratulations to all those boys. I wish it was non-political, and I wish every politician would leave them to their win without interfering with pictures and speeches. Thank you very much.
So, Mr. Di Gregorio, I sat here and I kept waiting for, no, don't come back. You're not allowed back.
Talk to me.
No, no. No. No.
Are you going to be addressing me?
You have to sit down. You have to sit down.
But you just said...
Your time is up. Your time is up.
Okay, so I'm not going to say...
There are rules,
Okay.
and we follow rules.
I will stand back here and wait for your
Then you go
response.
sit down.
Talk after we close.
What am I, dog?
You can't stand there. I have to call somebody else. Have a seat,
Are
please.
you going to comment about my comments?
No.
No.
No? Okay, then I will sit down. But no comments.
I could do whatever I want.
No comments.
I could do whatever I want, and I will.
Mr. Di Gregorio.
All right, I sat here and I was waiting for his facts, but they never did come out. The quality of life, if you ask the 10U Little League team, I think their quality of life was very good. We had a nice celebration. It was not political, it's a celebration, okay? That's what it was, okay? And everyone else is free to celebrate with them. And it's a shame, because I did see people in the back there who weren't even clapping because they're just here for other purposes. Now, in terms of innovation that Mr. Di Gregorio raises, when I became mayor, I actually reached out to him and I asked him for his ideas. And the only idea he came up with was that we should replace all our asphalt streets with cobblestones.
Not true.
Okay. Next.
Not true.
Next.
I have a million different ideas.
Yes. My email works. If you want to send me your ideas, feel free to send them to me.
I have in the past. Look at your history.
Logical ideas. Things that are workable, David.
Debbie Fair, 49 Irving Avenue, Englewood. My first question is about the ordinance. Why are you looking to adopt an ordinance establishing mandatory inclusion of affordable housing?
You could state your questions, but we're not answering those.
Okay,
We're in
now this
litigation.
ordinance is going to the planning board tomorrow night.
We're in litigation.
Well, it's going to the planning board.
And
so we
Lady
vote.
Padavano's attorney, who is suing us, is sitting right there.
The answer is yes.
Attorney announced that it's going to the planning board tomorrow night.
We're not discussing it here. You could say whatever you want.
Asking you to discuss it.
You're asking for answers, we're
Well,
not
I
giving you.
asked a question, you have the right not to
All right,
answer.
we're not answering, move on.
I'm talking about procedure. It's going to the planning board, correct? You'll get a recommendation from the planning board, you expect on Friday, and then in order for it to be advertised in a timely manner, in order to have the hearing on the 26th, it's calling it pretty close. And depending on the type of ordinance, I'm wondering, does it have anything to do with any zoning changes, where the contiguous towns will have to be notified? So I'm just asking procedural questions. That if the timeline that you've laid out for this ordinance is feasible.
It's fair, yeah.
We're not answering.
Right.
Go ahead.
Litigation.
If you have anything else, you're welcome to address us.
Okay, but
Not
wait, but
litigation, to talk about procedure and adoption-based
we're
ordinance.
being very polite,
No.
please, okay?
Yes,
We
so
cannot...
am I. Anyway, will a copy of the ordinance be available tomorrow? When it goes to the...
Whatever the clerk's rules are, that's...
So will we be able to get a copy of the ordinance tomorrow? After it's introduced tonight?
Whatever the rule is.
Anne Marie?
Clerk.
It's up to you.
What it is, normally you publish it in the newspaper, correct?
Right, and I would provide it.
When you publish.
So we can have a copy tomorrow?
Yes, you can email me.
Very good. The bill list, is excessively high. Is that a school thing? 6 million and something.
I would have to defer to the administrator.
Is there a school payment on there? as well?
There may have, I believe there was one.
The quarterly,
I believe there was.
I think there was.
Yeah, right?
Now, I see on the agenda Resolution 181 with Mazer and Riverside, and the resolution is on the agenda because there was an error in the resolution that was put on the agenda in August, and this resolution is correct. So, of course, my question is, where is the Chiapi resolution? That was incorrect, should be corrected at an open public meeting, not behind the scenes by the attorney changing something that wasn't properly voted on. And when is that resolution going to come back and state to the public the true outcome of that penalty. When are you going to do that? You said you made an error, you admitted you made an error, you admitted that the resolution was wrong. You haven't brought it back to any meeting to be re-voted on correctly. Why not? No answer.
No.
So you can bring other resolutions that were done incorrectly, which is fine, things happen, there are errors, as long as you correct them. But when you have to correct them at an open public meeting, you don't get to change resolutions behind the scenes and not bring it to an open public council meeting.
Thank you.
Lastly, any communication with borough officials, there's a disclaimer that any resident that writes to a borough official in their capacity officially, with the mayor, the clerk, can be open.
Thank you.
And therefore, and to make the assumption that somebody wants these meetings to target them is absolutely ludicrous.
History
That's how
predicts
your
the
mind
future.
works.
History predicts the future.
That's not how
Thank
any
you.
of our minds work.
No, of course not. Thank you.
No, it really isn't.
Of course not.
We actually care about the town.
I know you do.
And
I know.
did things that were good for the town.
That's right.
And as Mr. Gregorio said, you have not done anything positive for this town.
That's your view. Anybody else wishing to be heard? Mr. Nico, Andrew, is that you raising your hand? No? Okay. I'm sorry, I thought you raised your hand. Yes.
Lauren Eastwood, Four-Wheeler Drive. First of all, I certainly don't agree with the Democrats about how wonderful things were under them and how good things were. I got involved because we had serious problems with the building department, where rules applied to some people and didn't apply to others, including my next-door neighbors. And it caused a lot of damage on my property, and it was brought to the mayor and council's attention, including Councilman Aversa and Councilwoman O, and they did absolutely nothing about it. In the few years since the Republicans have taken over, I've seen new programs like Community Night Out and the 5K. I've also seen a substantial decrease...
I'm sorry. Mr. DiGregorio, you're being disruptive, as are you, Ms. Simon and Ms. Liascos. I asked you...
I didn't say anything, how dare you?
No, you did. I saw you.
I did not.
Okay, fine. If you didn't say
I'm
anything...
going to suggest you back off.
Okay, we'll take your suggestion, but I did hear noise from you.
There's a lot of noise.
I did,
Your
actually.
hearing check,
No, I could hear you pretty well.
because I'm raising my voice, because I don't think you hear well.
Okay. All right. That wasn't a... Okay.
I have appreciated that my property taxes over the last 3 years since Republicans took control have gone up on average 2.8% a year versus 5.3% a year in the preceding 4 years when the Democrats were in control. And I have appreciated the responsiveness of the administration to complaints, which was non-existent under the previous administration. I
It
think-
depended who you were.
Well, that's true.
Right.
I find it disturbing that Ms. Fair comes up here every meeting to lecture you on procedures. There's a procedure on spending money in a borough. It involves an open public meeting. She got a $10,000 raise in a closed session.
How much?
$10,000, which also affected her pension and cost us money there, too. And so far as I know, that was never corrected in a public session. So I think she should stop lecturing us on procedures. And I think she should also stop interrupting me. As to people concerned about people being intimidated, and that's why people want lists, I think that's a very real possibility. Having been subject to malicious, false criminal charges from someone sitting up there because they didn't like what I said. So I think that's a very real risk, and I think it's a risk that our residents have to be aware of.
Who's that?
Councilwoman Ellen Park.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was your statement again? I just want to make sure we have it on camera. What was your exact words again? They said something false?
She filed false charges. They were dismissed.
Okay, they were not dismissed because they were false.
You actually filed charges against the citizen?
She attached them.
And they got
That's
dismissed?
actually on the record.
And they got dismissed?
They got dismissed because the
You attacked her?
You attacked me.
You attacked Ms.
You
Eastwood?
attacked
Okay, whatever.
Go
But
ahead.
let's move on.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. We'll definitely know.
Go ahead.
This is the kind of attempts to intimidate citizens that we have a concern about. And it occurred regularly under the prior administration. People have a right to speak their minds without fear of retaliation. As to Mr. De Gregorio's concern that the mayor is going to comment after the meeting is closed, that happens all the time from the council. Joe Parisi did it all the time. He'd wait until closed session, and then he'd respond, and wouldn't give the resident opportunity to respond. I mean, it happens. And I'm sure Ms. Park is going to do the same thing later on tonight. However,
I just have a question for you.
the decision is, and the transcript exists.
Yes, okay, so we should send it out to everyone, first of all. And second of all, you're the one who's been harassing me. You're the one who actually pulled all of my records, sent letters to people in town, which, I'm sorry, did you say you did not do
Councilwoman
that?
Park, you're the one raising your voice
I'm
here.
sorry, I'm not raising my voice. Did you or did you not send letters to people in town?
It's not a
Requested your records.
Yeah.
You don't,
For the
She's accusing
citizen.
me of certain things, and I want to put it on the record.
I got this. So-
Did you or
so
did
this
you
is-
not send letters to people
is
in
not-
town regarding my home?
Wait. You can't go after people like that. They're citizens.
Accuse me of something that I did not do.
Okay, this is not a dialogue for you.
Wait, she
You
said,
have your
yeah, you
chance
can
later.
respond, yes or no, Lauren?
You're
Did you or
inter-
did you not?
You're interrupting the
You are
citizen.
one of the nastiest, most malicious people I have ever met in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't intend to respond to you.
Why? What is the answer, yes or no?
And I still want to answer
Councilwoman,
to how you got
you're out
a
of
building
order.
permit to
You're out of
expand
order.
non-conforming coverage without a variance.
So why won't you answer whether or
You're
not...
out of order.
You know what, I'll get my chance
You
later.
don't have the floor.
Yes, I will get my chance later.
Our citizen has the floor. One of our
You mean the
citizens.
former Councilwoman Lauren Eastwood?
Yes.
Who's also the Shade Tree Committee Chair. She's also on multiple different departments that you have assigned her, you've appointed her in, and now you tell me she's just a resident?
Yeah, and actually, she gets to meetings on time. We were
Yeah.
half an hour late today.
Great.
Go ahead. No, you don't get to talk from there. You don't get to talk from there.
Skolnick, please.
It's really ironic that you
Go
won't
ahead.
answer that
Go
question,
ahead, you
whether
can
you
finish.
sent the letters or not.
Councilwoman Park, you're out of order.
The attorney.
You're out of order.
Speak up and say that they're out of order.
You're
I
out of
want an
order.
investigation, Anne Marie. I'm saying it right now.
This is not an
You have said that last time,
What
at
are
the
you
last
doing?
meeting.
Intimidate people.
Okay, but you had said that, did you not?
Please. This is
Okay, so
not
I'm requesting an investigation of Lauren Eastwood, putting it on the record.
All
There's
right,
no, the council
Make a
does not
motion
have
later.
the
I
right
will.
to investigate citizens for exercising their constitutional rights.
Sure. That's
And
your
as
right
far
to
as
send
I-
letters to people in town, is that what you're saying?
And I really feel that you are putting the borough in danger of a civil rights action.
Okay.
That incidentally is something where there's also personal
Well, let's see.
Ellen, please,
Abortion.
please, stop. Just stop.
Ms. Eastwood, if I could ask you, please don't address Ms. Park. And Ms. Park, Councilwoman Park, please do not do what you're doing to this person or anyone else. It's not appropriate.
But
Please,
I
put your
think...
mind, excuse me, we can hear you, Ms. Fair. Ms. Skolnick, it's not fair for what you're hearing behind you coming, from sitting here. I'm trying to. I am being mature, but
Okay, Ms. Eastwood,
I am.
Ms.
I
Skolnick,
am.
please, go ahead.
It's
Finish.
unfortunate that those of us who disagree with the Democrats can't address the mayor and council without being interrupted. But that seems to be the way it has been forever. You know, I'm sure they're not happy. Personally, I think there need to be a lot of investigations. They should start with the prior building inspector and find out how my next-door neighbor got an assortment of building permits on a non-conforming lot without variances, and how other things were done. I am happy that things seem to be running so the rules apply to everyone now. which didn't happen in the past. And it's unfortunate that some people are unhappy. I suspect that they were people who might have been benefiting from the old system.
Anybody else wishing to be heard? Please raise your hand. Yes, sir.
My name is Andrew Steiber. I live on 750 Floyd Street. And what I want to say is, I'm going to be very brief. The two most important issues facing the residents of Englewood Cliffs, whether they happen to be Democrats, Republicans, or Independents, one of them is the rising real estate taxes. This is caused, of course, by an increase in personnel, because now we have a recreation director, we have a business administrator, maybe we're going to have a public safety director, and all these salaries add up. And then the cost of litigation by residents against the borough, and the cost of insurance that is needed to cover the personnel from the borough. And so one of the problems is that we used to be able to deduct the real estate tax and our New Jersey state tax. But now there's a limitation of $10,000 that will be this year. And so a lot of those taxes that we're paying, we're not going to be able to recover on the federal return. And it's going to cost everybody in this town money, whether they're Republican, Democrat, or Independent. Then the second, I think, important issue is the Normandy Associates, who's trying to put up a 5-story residential tower, and that they want to build on 800 Sylvan Avenue with 600 units. What will this do? We'll need to build new schools, of course. We'll need a new sewer system, because they'll at least have to be upgraded to take care of the capacity, because if you're talking about 600 residential units, at 2 to 3 people in a residential unit, you're talking about another 1,800 people in the town. And as of the last census, Englewood Cliffs the census was 5,281. So these are really the problems. I think that the attack on Chief Siafi is a diversion. It's not a real issue. It's designed to make it an issue so that the real important issues will not be noticed. Chief Siafi will retire at the end of January. He's going to be gone. And the mayor will be able to appoint another chief. And that will be very soon. So I don't see why we should be spending money for litigation against Chief Siafi when he's going to be retired very soon at the end of January. Thank you for your attention.
Dr. Steiber, I left a white plain piece of paper there. If you want, you could make a list of all the laws that you don't want to have applied to certain people, and then we'll look at that list, because we have to apply all the laws equally, sir. We have to apply all laws equally.
Yes.
So if you want to make a list of laws that you don't want applied to certain people, go ahead, give me the list, and we'll look at it. But what you're asking me to do is look the other way. And I took an oath of office that does not let me do that. Okay? That's why we're here. And it's a real issue. And I hope you get to listen to those tapes and recordings, and then you could tell me how unreal that issue is or how real it is.
Well, I'm not sure that the citizens of Englewood Cliffs will ever be able to listen to these recordings. I know you listen to the recording. I know that Carol McMorrow listened to the recording, but I'm not sure that we'll ever be able to.
I'm pretty sure you will be. I'm very confident.
That's going to be determined.
As a matter of public policy, a court will permit this, no matter how many obstacles Chief Chaffee puts up. But I just have to apply laws equally, sir. I can't pick and choose, okay?
I don't think he said that.
Thank you.
I don't think Dr. ever said that you could use.
Anybody else wishing to be heard?
Hello, everybody. Terry Parker, 39 Elm Street. Okay, so, I sat here, I think it was the last meeting we did before, and we all agreed that the stone was going to be...
They can't hear you.
I'm so sorry. That the stone was going to be reinstated. Okay, so it was reinstated. I was happy, everybody was happy, everybody congratulated me, whatever. Then, a few days ago, somebody said, did you know that the stone was moved? Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Did you know that?
No.
Did you know that? Did everybody else here know that?
Actually, I did not know, but I saw
Oh, then I guess Mario Krajak knows,
May
because
I-
you ordered it, didn't you, Mayor?
I did, in fact, and it was a better location to honor your husband.
What do you mean?
Well,
It's a better location?
well, let me finish.
Excuse me.
You
I
asked
just
me...
want to tell you something positive, though. I was at the soccer, I had no idea it was moved, but we had signed up for soccer on Saturday, and all the children were playing, and that's when the first time I saw, I said, what are they all looking at over there? And they were all going over there where the playground's right there. I didn't know it was moved. And I said, wow, look at that. That's a better location over there. All the kids were looking at it.
Carol, that's your opinion.
Let me finish.
And I thank you very much for your opinion.
But the kids were all...
You're entitled to it.
Just saying.
However...
You want an answer? You asked me a question. You asked me a question.
No, but I have...
You don't want an answer? You don't want an answer?
Yes, I do want an
Well,
answer. But
decide
not
what you
now,
want.
because I want to say my piece right now, okay? The stone again was moved without any notification. I could not believe it when someone told me...
You want notification? You think I have to give you notice? You didn't give me notice when you put it there in the first place. We found a very nice location for that stone. It's in front of Mark Neville and I did. It's right in front of the children's...
It was decided at that time before you were mayor, okay?
No, it wasn't.
And yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. And it was, excuse me, the Tree Shade Commission told me that this was the perfect spot. I went there with them.
It's out of its jurisdiction.
I got, excuse me?
It's a shade tree
I
commission,
was
not a shade
told
rock.
it was their jurisdiction.
No.
I don't know.
All right, well,
I don't know, Mayor.
you're just not happy, but let me explain to you. First of all, where it was placed originally...
I want to
was-
know why nobody else knew that it was going to...
Because I'm the mayor, they're not. Let me finish answering. The reason why it was moved was because it was very crowded where it was in the first place. It's in front of the snack bar, and it was really just getting lost underneath a tree. We moved it in front of the park because, true to what you said, your husband cared very much about the children, was on the school board. We put it outside of the children's park. And it's also serving as a physical barrier to that park where a car cannot crash into it, all right? That's why. 2 reasons. It's in a better location. If you don't like it, then I'm sorry, but it's actually a better honor for your husband to be there. Okay?
And I'm supposed to
It makes sense.
accept that, I'm supposed to accept the fact that someone said, did you know that the stone was moved? I said, absolutely not.
Well, what,
It's
did you
not
go
possible.
see it? Did you go see it?
Well, after I was told...
Oh, go see it. It's actually a great location. Everyone passes it who's going to the
Sir,
children's
I
park.
did see it. And I don't have to agree with you.
That's fine.
I like the way it was before.
What-
When...
As you leave here in your self-righteousness, I understand it. However, I really look forward to the day when you get to listen to the choppy tapes, because you feature prominently in one of them. Thank you.
Is that why you had it removed? And
No.
Don't put words...
It's in a better
Actually, now I get it.
It's in a better location.
That's why... That is a threat, sir. That is a threat.
Mayor,
You answered your own question.
He doesn't have the decency to check with somebody before he moves something.
And nobody here knows about it?
I'm asking you to be removed.
Sharon
and I'm not
McMorrow
checking with
doesn't know
anyone.
about
I
it?
did not know
you,
about it, no.
which is ugly, very ugly.
You don't get to do that.
Oh, I can do whatever I want, and I can leave whenever I want.
Mrs. Walker,
Well, you'll be leaving.
all the children were looking
Now's a
at
good
it
time.
on Saturday, that's how I noticed it. And
Officer,
I
this
really-
gentleman needs to be removed.
I really
He's-
think it's in a nice place.
Gentlemen.
Respectfully.
The gentleman there is just screaming out of his seat, and he's on his way out.
He's not kicking me out on it.
Well, he didn't, he did not
has no
kick you
heart.
out.
He's really a tasteless human being. Tasteless. Tasteless. You're indecent.
Okay, just...
Officer, officer, make sure he doesn't come back. Thank you. Anybody else wishing to be heard?
Well, I just wanted to finish this. I feel, in my opinion, that you are heartless, that you don't care about people. And I'm going to tell you that right now. I've never been accusatory.
Those are your feelings. A lot of people don't know I care about them.
Well, you know what, sir? You certainly haven't demonstrated when it comes to my husband. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else wishing to be heard? Yes.
Heidi Skolnick, 10 Sanford Drive. I'm going to try not to address all the name calling that's gone on that I think is uncalled for in this public forum. It really is disgraceful on all sides to hear the back and forth that goes on. I'm questioning, what is this, I'm trying to understand what this appointment is. What does the community development representative do?
What number is that?
It's a representative at the Bergen County Economic Development Department, and last year, Ms. Eastwood served as our representative, and I've asked her to do that again this year.
And so is that a unilateral decision?
Yes.
That's just an appointment that traditionally is made solely by you, and not
The
by,
recommendation, and then we vote on it.
that's going to be voted on tonight. So I feel, based on what I've heard tonight and in other meetings, I'm not clear that Ms. Eastwood, who may be talented in many areas, is the best to represent our community in this capacity. I think it's too charged. I think there's too much history, and I think there's too much anger to do justice in any position that should be representing everybody.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to be heard? Yes.
Karen Geiger, 270 Alfred Street. I have two comments to make, and only two. One, Ms. Eastwood said that attempts were made under the prior administration to intimidate citizens with fear of retaliation. There are few people in this town who fought the prior administration more than I did. I spent 2 years coming to mayor and council meetings, fighting with Joe Parisi over the height of LG and other related issues. In all the 2 years, I have never, ever been intimidated. I have never been spoken to rudely outside of the chambers. I have never felt less of a citizen than I have sitting here for the last 3 years since you are mayor. You show no respect to anyone who disagrees with you. Whether we have facts or feelings is immaterial. You have no respect for residents. And my other comment is on your decision to withhold from me the information which I am entitled to under the Public Open Records Act. Twice you have been found guilty by a Superior Court judge, Judge Contia.
That's not true.
Excuse me.
That's not true.
That is true. That is true. One of the
choice of
cases was brought by me. and one of the cases was brought by Ms. Park. And in each of those cases, Judge Contillo said that the borough violated the Open Public Records Act, the documents were required to be produced, and the borough had to pay our legal fees. I strongly suggest that you reconsider your comment made tonight, because I do not want to revisit a lawyer again and go to court.
Why do you need those names? Why do you need those names?
It is not your
Why do you need them?
business.
What are you going to do with them? You're going to target them, aren't you?
I
If
never,
people watching this at home, I am not giving your names up.
excuse me, so you are refusing to do this? You are refusing
No, because I know you're going to
comply.
target them.
I have never...
You target me if you want. Don't target my
I
citizens,
asked for
okay?
a public...
Don't target our
open-
citizens.
I asked for
You
a
can target me all you want.
public open record.
You and the people in the back row there, Mr. Marinuzzi, Liasco, Simon, Jamon, you can target me all you want.
Excuse me.
But do not target our citizens. You sit down. Mr. Marinuzzi, you're out of control.
Time you mentioned my name. Call the police again, let me go out.
You're on your way out, sir. You're on your way out. You're threatening me?
No, I'm not.
You're threatening me? You're threatening me. Mr. Marinuzzi, when this man comes to your house, people, remember what he's saying here.
Call my name.
Goodbye.
Everybody's name on this
What's wrong?
Sunday's gotta go.
Really, where's it gonna go, sir?
right side too while you're at it, Mario?
Sergeant Walt, he's taking him. Sergeant Walt, he's threatened me. Mr. Marinuzzi has threatened me.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll talk about it later.
yeah.
Please tell him to leave.
You said you're interested in firemen?
We may do that. I may do that.
Yeah.
I will, perhaps. Tell Mr. Marinuzzi he's not welcome back here. Thank you, officer. Ms. Geiger, what's next?
Yeah, that's respect for the citizens.
Don't you...
He was threatening him.
He just threatened me.
He didn't threaten you, you're on camera.
You obviously have your own view of the rule of law, and what really is the real rule of law, and what's really happening in the courts with this town is indifferent to you. You persist on misrepresentation, and it really is very, very sad for our community.
Thank you. You're the only person suing this town right now in here, not me. You are. See you. Anybody else? Yes.
Information.
No, she's suing with...
She's not the only person.
She's lined herself up with his client.
That's someone else who's suing the town.
For money.
For money. Yeah, sitting up on this side.
And then you want to know why I think you have a conflict and can't vote on me. Keep talking.
Yes.
It's all on video.
That's right. Let's bring it to
You
court.
cannot vote on me. That's my opinion.
Maria Valari, 45 Jane Drive. Okay, so I just want to say a few things. I'm actually shaking from this meeting. I can't believe what's going on here. What I want to say is that I recall that
I'm sorry, Ms. Liascos, I'm looking at you right now and you're talking, right? Can you just stop, please? Please stop.
The amount of disrespect and rudeness is unbelievable to me, what's going on here tonight. Okay. I recall, I came to many, many meetings before Mayor Kranjak was voted in. I came to many Parisi meetings, and to say that Mayor Kranjak, that they have never witnessed anything like this man, you people should be ashamed of yourselves for even saying that. I remember cases where Mayor Parisi got off that dais and got in the faces of the residents of this town. So when you talk about residents, don't talk as if you're talking for me or somebody else. You're talking for your group of residents. You're not representing the whole town, okay? Carter Carson? My God. I feel so bad for this woman. I don't know how she puts up with it. Carter Carson? He shut you down in a second, shouted you down, intimidated you, and had you removed from this room. Okay? And I'm sure there are tapes out there, if anybody's interested.
You're right, he's also featured on those tapes.
Okay. Also, I also want you to know that my 10-year-old son, ladies and gentlemen, was sent to juvenile court by Mayor Joseph Parisi for riding a little motorbike of Carroll Drive. Okay? My son suffered through that. Nobody knows what he went through and what my family went through because of that. So shame on yourselves for sitting here and singing the praises of the Parisi regime, because you know what? He wasn't working for the whole town. Okay? And that's a fact. We're still talking about a rock? Are you serious? With all that's going on, the rock was not removed. Yvonne Favaro did not have the authority to have that rock placed there. The grounds are not under shade tree. Do you know what's under shade tree?
Shade tree.
Shade trees.
Brilliant.
That's it. Isn't that interesting? Otherwise, it would have said parks and recreation and whatever they wanted to do. The problem is that we people here who have lived under the Parisi dynasty, okay, for 30 years, know the facts. The facts are that the people that were in with the Parisis got whatever they wanted, and the people who were not in with the Parisi got nothing and got trouble. I'm going to ask Lizette something. Lizette, we had an incident where a resident complained about a pool. I'm not going to mention names. That resident wanted to know, who had the pool, wanted to know who it was that complained about her pool. Carter Karsten advised me that I could give out that information to that resident. However, when I presented that Oprah to you, you sent me a slew of reasons on why I could not give that person that name, because you said that under that, all that jargon that you sent me, that it would cause problems between the neighbors and fights between the neighbors. So how dare do these people, and I hope that you don't release any of the names of the people that support releasing those tapes, because that's exactly what will be created. Thank you. Yeah, sure.
I don't have any of the names, and I don't have any, allow me to finish. I don't have any of the names. Okay? If anyone did send a name, it went to, I see Mrs., are you recording me, Mrs. O'Shea?
Yes.
And
recording the whole meeting.
Okay, you know what else?
I was being recorded, by Miss Ellen Park, so I don't see what the problem is with recording.
Right. It's okay. But you're right.
You're recording me, I'm recording you.
You were.
Because I didn't,
I have pictures of you recording me.
I don't record. I don't even have an iPhone. I have a flip phone. Please. Obviously, you're wrong about that, Ms. Park.
Possibly.
Okay, so that is my point as far as releasing names. You will only be creating issues amongst residents of the town. So if, in fact, the side of the aisle wishes to represent all the people, they have to know what all the people want, not just what their people want. Okay, there's just some rising real estate taxes, okay? My taxes were raised almost every year while the Parisis were in. So all of a sudden, we're now worried about taxes. Obviously, we're always worried about taxes, but I never heard a word from anybody about the rising taxes back then. You know, I heard personnel, taxes, Normandy, I heard so many things, but you know what I didn't hear? I didn't hear how many lawsuits we have that are basically police-related. Okay? Of course I know that. What I am saying is that how many lawsuits do we have between council people, police officers? It's mind-boggling, and it's really upsetting as a resident who I've never sued anybody. I never sued anybody in my life, okay? Even when I had cause to sue, I did not sue. And by the way, Parisi celebrated Little League. What happened? We're not allowed to celebrate Little League anymore because the mayor is a Republican? What is that about? Every time we had things in the Parisi times, they've always celebrated the Little Leagues. I've got so much written down, and my brain is just not going there anymore. We need to really, if you really want to do something for the town, ladies and gentlemen, you need to do something for the whole town. You need to make decisions that are good for the whole town. I want to see those tapes released. I want to hear those tapes personally, because after working in Borough Hall, I can tell you, there's a lot of stuff that's not kosher that went on. And so therefore, I think I have a right to hear. Is my name on there? Were sexual things said about me, or about somebody sitting over there, or somebody is being threatened because maybe they don't like how they behaved? You know something? The world is not perfect. And so I would like to hear everything that's on those tapes. How many tapes? 120? I want to hear them all. And I hope that you all agree. You three decided that you didn't want those tapes released. Shame, no, I'm talking. I'm a resident, and I'm talking.
Okay, but
You decided not to have those tapes released.
we can't let it's in court.
Thank you.
It's not that we decided not to release it, it's in the hands of the court.
Yes.
And you know that.
And you know, if he
You
could
know
release
that.
it, he would, but he can't, because it's in
Can you
court.
stop, can you stop harassing the citizens, please?
Sure, when you stop.
Yes.
Oh, Ellen, just so you know.
Okay. Oh, I think I got you mixed up with Ms. O'Shea.
In my face.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lynn Liascos, 10 East Street. I have a few concerns, and my concerns center around the release of residents' names. What's it going to take to get those tapes released?
It's going to take people like you and everyone else to be loud. Be loud and demand that they be released.
I mean, because I see 4 Republicans. I'm a Republican. I'm a staunch Trump supporter. I see 4 Republicans here who could have voted to release those tapes.
No, they did.
And I'm concerned. I
There's
have
no
the
vote.
floor.
There was no vote. You're making that up.
Borough attorney, hold on a second.
I can tell you the truth.
Ms. Valori, and to you. There was no vote placed on the agenda
Why not?
because we do not have the authority.
Exactly.
Well, wait a minute.
This body does not...
Do not yell at me. You're only an employee of the borough.
Not yelling. I'm not.
Lower your voice.
Okay. Excuse me, council members, if I could just speak. There is a federal lawsuit and a federal discovery confidentiality order. This body does not have the ability to defeat that order. That judge needs to change it.
Or the chief needs to wait.
I understand that. So, right now, you have no ability to do this.
So we're
waiting for the
Excuse me, what I merely said to you was, there was no vote by the council. The mayor asked the people of the gallery here, how would you vote? That's all that happened. There was no official vote by this body.
So if there's no authority yet, we're waiting for the judge. We can't do anything, correct?
All I'm saying...
Yes or no? Yes, Carol, what the answer is, Jesus.
I'm not, because you're being so rude, and you just want to make...
No, she's the attorney. She's the attorney. I didn't tell her to shut up. I did not.
Okay, so I'm not going to opine on the pending litigation.
That's what
I'm
I was
merely
saying.
stating to you a fact. There is a discovery confidentiality order right now, and this body, at this particular moment in time, doesn't have the ability to vote on that court.
Can you tell me when you think this might be resolved?
Again, I'm not...
By the judge. Forget about Chiaffa, because you're not going to get in the...
Hold on.
There's a hearing on, hold on, there's a hearing on October 1st.
October 1st, okay.
I would like to add to this answer. We also have a police officer that wants the tapes. He's going to court to ask the judge...
Can you say his name?
It's a public document,
It's public
Lieutenant Tracy.
Okay.
And you know what?
I'm just asking you if you can say his name, that's all.
Lieutenant Tracy brought a litigation to release the tapes. He wants them.
He wants them, okay.
So-
And I want them.
Right, he's gonna be in court, I don't know what date that hearing is gonna be heard, the oral argument, and I hope the judge releases it to him. So we have police officers that are also agreeing with us that they want the tapes released. So we might get it a lot sooner than the other judge in federal.
I mean, 'cause, honestly, you know, a couple of people made a good point, you know, am I on the tape? Are things
Absolutely.
being said about me?
There are a lot of people on...
Would I want those things that were said about me out on the street? I don't know. That's the other thing. Are you protecting citizens? You say you're protecting citizens by not giving the open request for names of citizens. I, for one, would want to know, at least if we were affected, you would call those people in, and you'd let them know what's going on. Maybe their lives are in jeopardy. That concerns me. I must tell you, at one time, on the 10 years I did on the Board of Ed many years ago, we had a situation, and we called the people in that were affected by something that we found.
Yeah.
And we made sure we protected our parents and their kids.
Thank you for that. We have a situation here right now.
I would be very concerned, and I hope that in the event you find that there are citizens with some kind of disparaging information on those tapes, that you have the decency to protect those citizens by calling them in and getting their permission to release information. Because I would be hard-pressed to find out that I'm living next door to a pedophile, and that might have been discussed on there. What kind of repercussions will we suffer as a town should disparaging information come out and cause the citizens a problem? That would concern me.
Thank you. We have developed a strategy for release when we get permission to protect. And now, just so you know, there's some citizens who are not employees who feature prominently in terms of doing things and helping people that they shouldn't be helping in those tapes, and that'll come out also.
Helping?
Yes.
I'm not sure what that means, but...
Okay, that's enough.
How about conspiring?
Conspiring?
Let's replace helping
Did
with
you say
conspiring. Let's replace helping with conspiring.
So somewhere in the first week of October, we can get an update on
I'm
this,
hoping.
unless something's happened sooner, and then I'm sure you'll put it out on Facebook or somewhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Excuse me, Ms. Skolnick? Ms. Walker? Please? Thank you.
Russell Perino, 220 Fairview Avenue.
Ms. Fair, please.
Mayor, Council. A few comments I'd like to make. I try not to get involved in the political bickering, I'll call it. I sit here most evenings and listen and pay attention. But when the attacks come at me personally and at the planning board that I chair at the present time, I think it's my responsibility to speak up. There's been a series of accusations made back in early in the year, I guess it was, and things calmed down. And I know we're in silly season now with an election coming forward, and everyone likes to have a scapegoat, at least the party that's looking to regain control of the borough council. But I need to speak a little specifically about certain things that are said, and I think, although I don't like to call attention to any group's news items that they put out, I think it's necessary because at the very foundation, I find them to be false. And they're false because the people that pose to be nonpartisan are everything but nonpartisan. And it's okay that they speak their piece, but they should say who they are, defend their position, who they represent and who they support, and say their piece. That's fine. But to hide behind this term of nonpartisan drives me crazy. Ms. Sabari got up at the reorg meeting, I believe it was, of this year, and called it a bipartisan effort. And that's different from a nonpartisan effort, which is what's stated in their newsletter that goes out. The way I look at it is that any words that are contained within these newsletters that go out to every resident in this borough have to be looked at in the light of the entire premise of the publication. The group is a partisan group. So anything that flows from it, anyone asks me the question, I won't trust a word of it. Say who you are. Come out. Say you're partisan. Say who you support. It's great. You ask me a question, I'd say who I support. It's no problem. It's a free country. But don't hide behind the shroud of nonpartisanship, trying to fool the residents. Those that may not speak English that well, that read these highlights and get scared with the scare tactics that are put in. The attacks now on me personally and on our board. It's unacceptable. And I think it needs to be called out specifically over and over again.
I agree with you. It's fake news. Comes to Englewood Cliffs. Courtesy of Karen Geiger.
So, just getting to specifics for a minute, in their last piece, there's a sentence in here that says, and I'll quote, "It makes no sense to us why the planning board continues to spend our tax dollars fighting Normandy's appeal of the planning board denial of the corporate building application. That denial is what has led to the borough's costly, affordable housing litigation." As if it's fact. Now, it's a commentary, so with that, there's some latitude. But to make an absolute statement like that by those who don't even know enough information to be able to even make that statement is outrageous. It's done for political purposes. It's to lay the blame at the planning board, of which the mayor has appointed the majority of the members. It's sure, it's clear, it's definite. So, those are the kind of things that, they're not even measuring their words anymore. It used to be, well, they think, it probably, we believe. Now it's stated as fact. It's not true. And they don't know enough of information. They're claiming that they know more information than every one of you, and every member of the planning board, and every professional that we have that's defending the town right now. So unless they have an inside track, it's false. I'll be careful, because it's in litigation about what I say, but there's a couple of public filings that were made by 800 Sylvan, which I just want to quote a couple of them. They're public information, so I think it's fair that I speak to them. I'm not going to make any comment about them, but I'm going to state them. Number one is, and this is going back early part of the year, I believe, the 800 Sylvan folks admitted the stagnant market for suburban office buildings. Okay. Then, later on, this year, there was another writing by 800 Sylvan, and it said, and I'll quote, "It is 800 Sylvan's strong preference to pursue a rezoning allowing for its proposed inclusionary development as opposed to the planning board case, which concerns non-residential development." I ask the members of the council and the residents to dwell on that for a minute, and to see if that may shed some light on the false allegations made by Eye on the Cliffs and their editors. Now turning to myself for a moment. Allegations were made in two different, well, in one of the Eye on the Cliffs newsletters that suggested that I have a conflict of interest in hearing 800 Sylvan application. Okay, fair game. My skin is thick enough to take it, no problem. Next edition comes out, and they said that, okay, yeah, it didn't happen, it's not true. Okay, that's fine, all right? Even though the words that are used would lead one to believe that maybe there was a conflict, but, you know, the judge didn't see it. The short of it is, if you use my name in the same sentence as a conflict of interest, you better be sure. And the judge ruled already, it's a public document, that the plaintiff failed to make a prima facie case that there was a conflict. So, when one makes that accusation, they should be ready to withdraw and to apologize when they find that it's not true. And I'm going to quote from, this is also a public document, that was filed on behalf of an intervener in the planning board matter, by Ms. Geiger. She filed it, these are her words, she signed to them, and I'll quote, "It is impossible for any knowledgeable person who knows of Chairman Perino's parents' history with the property, his own involvement, and his appearance before the planning board in 2011 to believe that he would not be conflicted." Her words were, "It is impossible." Well, I guess it was possible, because the judge has already ruled on it. So these are the kind of things that, it's part of a lawsuit, I accept that it is, but it's nonsense. And she got up and parroted the same arguments made by 800 Sullivan. They were both dead wrong. And I want to thank the members of the council. This is all members. Carol, first and foremost, I know what you're doing. Day in, day out. No one else seems to even realize. They're worried about the police chiefs and their tapes. You're working on this thing 24 hours a day. I know you are. Mayor, I know what you're doing, and other members of the council. I don't need to omit anyone here. But there should be some recognition of the work that you're doing. The folks don't know. They should know. This is not a matter of if 800 Sylvan is right or wrong. It's a matter of you defending the borough, doing the best that you can, doing your jobs. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perino, and thank you for your service as our chairperson. It's greatly appreciated. And I also want to thank you for highlighting for all of us the toxicity of Geiger and Sabari's political newsletter, Eye on the Cliffs. Anybody else wishing to be heard? Yes, sir.
Andrew Nick at 54 Elm Street. I've not been to one of these in 6-7 months, and I probably haven't spoken at one in probably over a year. And it's kind of disturbing to see that nothing has really changed. Just a question for the members of the board over here. Are you guys older than 3 years old or 6 years old? Because I have two darling nephews who are 3 and 6 years old, and they can handle conflicts better than you guys can. And with all the problems that this borough has right now, and there are problems, taxes, whatever, the police department, whatever you guys want to come up with, there are a lot of problems facing this town right now. It is just so disappointing to see that if I were to replace you guys with 3 and 6 year olds, they could probably run this town better than you can. That's all I have to say. Have a great night.
Thank you. I actually have one thing to say to you. And I'm glad you're actually here tonight, because in listening to Chief Chaffee's tapes, there's one particular moment that stands out. And he basically says, he's boasting to a subordinate officer about saying that he gave the expletive, quote unquote, information about Kranjak to Andrew,
We don't know
who went to Terry Plucker, who in turn went to Senator Loretta Weinberg. He said Loretta Weinberg was the one who did the whole thing about Ziza, and that Loretta Weinberg supposedly told Terry Plucker that Loretta Weinberg would help me with this and put it out. He then mentioned speaking with Jimmy in the hallway and urging Jimmy to let Andrew put it out in the Sunday paper. Everybody reads the Sunday paper. This guy will be hiding under a rock, is what Chaffee says. Thank you, Andrew.
I'm just...
You don't want the whole meeting. You want to control the narrative.
I'm speechless. I've never...
Oh, no, I'm sorry. You'll have your opportunity. You'll have your opportunity.
I just have to say that I'm totally speechless as regards to this council.
I assure you, I believe in due process, and you will have your opportunity also.
Is that a threat to me or something?
No, you won't be, you'll have due process like everyone else. everyone else has been doing things
All I
to hurt
know-
this town.
All I know is that this town is literally disintegrating, and we're worried about nonsense right
Well,
now.
go look in the mirror. Thank you.
Bill, you know, you seem like a decent guy. You know, I went to school with your sister, we went to high school. You know me, what type of guy I am, you know. I'm just so disappointed in how this has turned out, I really am.
As am I.
Are you saying the rest of us are not decent, President Count?
I'm saying that I have a relationship, I'm saying that, Ms. McMorro,
No, excuse
I'm
me.
saying that I have a relationship with Mr. Wu over here. I've known him for several years. I consider him a very decent person. I'm not, sorry, I don't have a relationship with you or Mr. Park.
That's not the point.
You know, that I know you personally, I know Bill, and I was just saying that my commentary to him. That's it.
I do have, and I don't believe in the back and forth with residents, okay,
But you're engaging with me right now, but I'm up for it, I'm good spirit for it, so.
I'm communicating with you.
Okay.
You're on the fire department, correct? So can we not communicate? Should I not feel comfortable if I need to speak to you?
I have
No,
never...
but I had a question.
No, absolutely. And just like I have not been dismissive of anyone, I had a charming conversation with
let me
Ms.
just-
Eastwood
let me
prior
just-
to the meeting. I consider myself open to everybody, that I'm
Like
not
to make
going to
comments.
dismiss anybody. So please.
Thank you. And I understand this public comment, but you came up here and you called all of, you stated, and by the way, I saw your nephews at soccer on Saturday, and they're quite charming, and the older one came to play. You stated that your 3- and 6-year-old nephew would do a better job than we.
I was referring to the entire case,
Okay.
not just ours and these.
Okay, but let me just finish uninterrupted. You just heard Mr. Perino publicly state how hard we are working on what I feel is a very, very important issue for this borough. You just heard him say that, yet you got up right after him quite clearly. Let me finish, please. Ignored what he said and just came up here and insulted us. How do you expect people to react when you're calling them 3- and 6-year-olds? And I'm going to say, number one. Number two, Andrew, I've worked with you 3 years now, and I've worked with you for the years before, when I was on the council. You know, without getting into any detail, you know, your name is mentioned, or believes to be mentioned. I'm not going into any other detail on that tape. The truth will be told when they're played, and I look forward to hearing all the truths about who these people are that are on these tapes. But there are also documents, Andrew, with your name on it, going after me and my husband in the Choppy discovery. So please, this town cannot heal when we have people like yourself on a fire department who are going after residents too. What your rights are and not, I don't know. That's for the court. I'm just saying.
Ms. McMorro,
You want to leave now?
Ms. McMorro...
It's not right.
You want to leave now? I mean, because this isn't going well, okay?
Ms. McMorro, I respect your opinion on that matter.
No, it's fact.
I respect
There's basis
what
on it.
you just said, that's fine. With regards to my comments, I believe you misunderstood it.
Okay.
Because my point was that if you all worked together...
Okay, thanks.
In a better manner... I'm not done yet, sir.
All right.
If you all work together in a
But some
better
of us
manner...
are trying, Andrew.
If you all work in a better manner, just imagine what this council could achieve. Right now,
I don't-
you're working on the POA stuff. That's commendable. I'm not aware of what you're doing, only because I've just not chosen to inform myself about
Litigation and certain
it,
things.
which is fine. I have no problem with that. But given all the issues that this town has, we would be much better served if you guys, instead of spending the first 2 hours of the evening going back and forth about whatever you want to go over, working together to resolve problems. Mayor, you've said that, you know, what's the line that you say? If you're willing to work with me, I'm willing to work with you. Well, that's a two-way street.
It is.
And, you know, I would like to see you try to work with them, just as I would like to see them work with you.
I'll work with anyone.
Well, prove it. So far, in all fairness to you, You know, I've come up here, I've tried to be respectful, I've tried to treat you all with decency. You know, you may have not understood my analogy, and for that, I'm sorry that you did not. It wasn't meant to insult you, it was meant to show that you guys, you work together, you know, you guys could do great things. But, sir, you need to also understand that as well. I mean, you've been mayor since 2016, and you've done some good things, but you've also done some bad things. That's my right as a citizen to comment to you.
Well, based
I don't have
on-
to like everything you do.
No, I understand that,
don't have to
and
like
that's
everything
fair, I'll take criticism, but what I won't accept is people who are targeting me, and I always suspected that.
Sir,
But now, I know for a fact, because our police chief walks around with a microphone and he forgets to turn it off. Okay? This is the person that we're paying $232,000 for every year.
Sir,
All right? And if you don't want those laws to apply to him, make a list right there, like I asked the other gentleman, Mr. Stiver, Dr. Stiver, make a list of the laws that you don't want to apply to your friends.
Sir, you are
The sheet is still blank, by the
You are
way.
engaging, as your attorney said, in the process to do what you need to do. If that's what this council feels that they need to do,
Right.
so be it.
So
I have not voiced any objection one way or the other.
Your self-righteousness is lost on me, sir. It's lost, really, because I heard those tapes.
In reality...
Okay, so self-righteousness...
In reality,
It's done.
in reality, for the past year and a half, I've stepped away from politics.
Oh, you haven't?
I haven't been involved in any campaign.
Actually, no, we have
I haven't been
discovery.
involved, that's great.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay,
I haven't been involved in any campaign. I haven't been involved in any groups. I haven't been involved in anything. I've stepped back so that I don't have to expose myself to this. I came here tonight because I just wanted to see what was going on before the election. You know, you, Mayor, you know, for whatever reason, you've chosen to threaten or attack me or whatever it is that you...
no, it's not for any reason.
No.
Whatever
it is, whatever it is.
It's based on discovery produced by Chief Chaffee. You're all over it, sir. And then you come here and you have this self-righteous indignation.
So far, Mayor, every person that's gotten up in this room, you say, is all over this. So
Yeah.
I tend to dismiss that.
I think we're done, because we'll see you later on.
Andrew, I look forward to allowing all the residents to have the opportunity to hear what's on these tapes.
That's fine.
Hold on. And then, I look forward to hearing what every single person has to say after they hear the disgusting, deplorable, degrading, humiliating conversations held and referencing other residents who may not even know that they were being referenced. We don't know that yet. Okay? We're not going to get into those details.
That's your prerogative.
No, that's going to be everyone's
that's
prerogative,
your
and
prerogative.
everybody should care.
By the way, what I...
As Bill said, every resident
Okay.
should have a right to know.
What I read from before is a public document, so if anyone wants to pull it, you're welcome to. There's more in there. Okay, thank you.
I will make sure
Anybody
to
else
ask
wishing to be heard?
Lizette for an Oprah. Have a great evening, everybody.
You can over, it's in the court already.
Anybody else
What kind of
wishing to be
trick
heard?
is suing to get
Please
the
don't,
tapes?
I don't have that.
Okay, have a motion to close the public session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, let's do, payment of claims, Resolution 18-179, payment of claims August 9th, 2018 through September 12th, 2018, $6,579,467.85.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to ask a question to the borough administrator. What is the status with the legal bills from the borough attorney?
I received one, and,
One for what month?
two, I'm sorry, two.
No, two and then, that's 6
I spoke
others.
to Anna Marie, will be forwarding more to me, very shortly.
Okay, so the two bills that
I'm
you,
reviewing them for any
do you
For
know,
more than two.
do you know what months they were for?
February.
Okay.
And I spoke with Anna Marie, and she's going to present more to everyone. Okay, try to catch up.
Okay, have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Have a vote?
I have to recuse on one check, so do we have to vote, I think we have to vote separately then?
You can pull it out, I think.
No, they made me, we have to say that, you have to say everything except for the one check number, and then,
Do you have that?
I have the check number right here.
Just pull it, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So I don't think I ever recused myself for any of the checks that was paid for litigation that I brought, because no one had said...
Yeah, so we're at the meeting now. These are things that you need to discuss before. Can we roll?
I had to pay for community pass.
Yeah.
This is a separate thing.
All right.
Ellen.
All right, this is not litigation.
Yeah, it's not litigation.
Okay. Pass.
People roll.
I had to pay for it out of pocket, because borrowed his own credit card.
Councilpersons Aversa,
Yes.
E. Park,
Yes.
O.
Yes. Yes.
McMorro,
Yes to all except for check number 45477.
45477.
Yeah, 45477.
M. Park,
Yes.
Wu.
Yes.
Resolution 2018-180, resolution authorizing agreement with State of New Jersey for green forestry grant. Need a motion?
So move.
Second?
Second.
Councilpersons Aversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu.
Yes.
181, resolution of award to Mazer Consulting for Riverside Cooperative.
So move.
Second.
Councilpersons Aversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu.
Yes.
182, resolution authorizing shared services contract with County of Bergen for snow plowing.
Second.
Councilpersons Aversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu.
Yes.
183, resolution authorizing approval of Breaking AIDS Ride bicycle events.
So move.
Second.
Councilpersons Aversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu.
Yes.
184, resolution authorized volunteer tuition credit program.
So move. Second.
Councilpersons Aversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu.
Yes.
185.
Point of order? Yeah. What's your order?
On 185. So you want to recommend Ms. Eastwood for this position, correct? To appoint as a municipal representative of Bergen County Community Development? So I just want to say that, you know, Ms. Eastwood holds many positions in Englewood Cliffs. She is also the Shade Tree Committee, the head of the Shade Tree Committee. She is also, I believe, a mayor's designee for the planning board. And that being said, again, you have not answered my question. So I got this off the internet. You gave me a great idea, Ms. Eastwood. So apparently, Ms. Eastwood, who hasn't answered my question, did in fact send out letters to residents in town. And I didn't want to bring this up because, again, you keep haranguing me, but I have letters that she sent around to people in town, postmarked September 11th and September 13th, the two letters that she brought to council regarding my house. Secondly, this is a letter that she sent to, I'll tell you,
Does this have to do with the
Okay, because this goes
representative
to
position?
her background.
Well, the way to deal with this...
Can I finish, Mayor?
Just recuse yourself.
No, I don't need to recuse myself. I can take a vote, but I have point of order. You recognize I want to speak.
No, but this
So
is
she
just
sent
a-
out this letter to Mr. and Mrs. Glenn Pulgarian of 8 2nd Street in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey. She also voted on their variance on July 13th, 2017. It's actually on the internet. You could look on the website, where she passed the variance for an extension of their home. And so we talk about abuse of power. So she sits and votes on the planning board, and yet she pulls out permit applications, everything about my house, and she knows that these people are aware that she voted yes on their variance, because they were there. She sends them letters of disparaging words about my house, and you don't think that's inappropriate? You don't think she's abused her power as a mayor's designee for the Shade Tree Committee?
Do you read
What is that? I don't care about that.
hold on.
That has nothing to do with this.
Hold on a second.
All right?
What you're talking about is different than what...
It's very inappropriate
This
that-
resolution is for Bergen County Community Development.
Yes,
Is there-
she should not have any
what you're saying?
positions for the county, for the borough, because she's crossed the line, abused her power, right? She's never answered the question, and I'm sure if I pull up all the variances that she voted on, passing those variances, she's probably sent those letters to those people as well. So are you telling me that her character is fit enough to be another representative for us?
Are you finished? Are you finished? Are you finished?
Just one, Mayor.
Well, I just want to say this. I want to actually acknowledge Ms. Eastwood for all the work she does for this town. She's very diligent, and dependable, and I apologize that you're being harangued by Ellen Park, who's on council.
Right, because she's sending letters to people in town about me.
Now, that's a point of disorder, okay? So we're done.
I give up.
I want an investigation, Anne Marie. You said it before two hearings ago, now I'm telling you.
Councilwoman Park, there is a resolution on the agenda. The person being considered, says you have a conflict with her, and you have just clearly demonstrated it, and you should recuse from voting on the current resolution.
Absolutely not.
Excuse me, please let me finish, because I need to make a record.
Okay.
You previously were advised that you had a conflict of interest with respect to Ms. Eastwood on a prior occasion because you had filed a quasi-criminal complaint against her.
It was dismissed.
Excuse me. Now you are standing here again, talking about this whole problem that you have, and attacking in the context of a resolution of appointment. If you have a problem and you are relating it directly to any position that Ms. Eastwood holds, please discuss it with me in private, because if there needs to be something done, it needs to be discussed in closed session, and it needs to be decided by the mayor and council, not here in a public forum. This is inappropriate the way you're handling
And
it.
you've displayed such animus towards her, how could you possibly vote?
Okay, let's...
It's not possible.
Okay,
Ellen.
you
You're
decide how you want.
Again, like I said,
All right.
I don't have a problem with Ms. Eastwood, except for the fact she has very poor character.
Should I have a motion, please? Should I have a motion?
Emery.
Please.
Have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Put it into a package and mail it.
All right, we had a motion.
You don't respond to anything I say. I sent you an email for months and months and months, and
I
again,
told you I wasn't going to respond to that. I told you then, and I told you tonight.
All right, let's have a vote. We had a motion from Councilwoman McMorro and a second from Councilman Wu. Roll call.
Councilperson Zaversa? E. Park?
no.
O.
No.
McMorro?
Yes.
N. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
Mayor Kranjak?
Yes.
186, resolution authorizing encroachment and hold harmless agreement for 10 Summit Street.
Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
187, resolution authorizing grant application and contract with NJDOT for various roadways.
So move.
Improvement projects, Pershing Road, Summit Street, and Johnson Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
Who seconded it?
Me.
Mark,
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
188, resolution authorizing purchase of fire safety equipment under New Jersey state contract.
So moved.
Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
189, resolution authorizing negotiations as discussed in closed session regarding Lavery, Salvaggi, Abramidis,
Councilwoman Park.
and Cohen.
That's the one.
No, you just said that the appointment of attorney.
No, we're not on that. We're on 189.
Authorized.
Need a motion?
So moved.
Point of order?
Yes.
What was the final decision we made on it?
This 189 is strictly for the authorization for negotiation as discussed in closed session. That's all it is.
So I just want to clarify, thank you.
That's why Ellen is reviewing.
Okay, gotcha, sorry.
Need a motion?
So moved. Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Recuse.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
190, resolution appointing litigation counsel for borough representative for year 2018.
So moved. Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
No.
E. Park?
No.
O.
No.
McMorro?
This is, I'm confused. You don't want to, the borough has to be represented. You don't want to appoint a lawyer? I'm lost here. What is this, what is this for?
This is for the year 2018 for litigations that may come. Litigations, current litigations, and those that may come.
Wait a second. That's all it is.
This is, Bucco.
But I want to understand what I'm voting. So they're voting no. They don't want to, so you don't want the borough to defend the matter of James Tracy versus Borough? You're voting no on that?
That's not what it is.
Yes, it is. It's in here.
It's for the year 2018.
According to our borough council.
No, I just want to just put it, it's in 190. It mentions that.
I know, but I'm just telling you what the council told me when I asked them, so.
It's for the year 2018.
Any item.
And it could be others.
Correct.
We will be in...
But that lawsuit's included. Tracy Ray.
Well, we
Okay.
include anything and everything, possibility.
We hope there's nothing...
I understand, but that's why.
Okay, but the borough has to be defended, so I'm going to vote yes for appointing a lawyer for the borough.
Can you continue to vote?
Okay.
Carol said yes.
McMorro?
I said yes.
M. Park?
Yes. Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
Mayor Kranjak?
Yes.
191, resolution appointing litigation counsel for borough clerk 2018 Oprah matters.
So moved. Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
This is for the whole, this is for all matters too.
Any Oprah matter.
Any Oprah matter, same thing. No.
No,
Litigation is litigation.
No.
Oh, come on, guys. Get right. No problem.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Recuse.
McMorro?
Yes.
She did the last time.
Why are you questioning my recusal?
McMorro,
I thought maybe you meant abstain.
M. Park?
Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
192, authorized tax appeal settlement 181 Chestnut.
Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
193, resolution rejecting bids and authorizing rebid of security cameras.
So moved. Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
No.
E. Park?
No one asked me about
It's okay.
No.
O.
Abstain.
These are for security cameras that the police department need. You're voting no to that. I'm voting yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
194, authorized transfer of liquor license person to person.
Second.
Councilperson Zaversa? E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu.
Yes.
Next one is ordinance, first reading with the public hearing on September 26th at 7:30 PM. An ordinance establishing mandatory inclusion of affordable housing through the use of percentage set-asides. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
I want to get some more information, that's all.
E. Park?
I abstain as well. We didn't get our information till 2:55 today, and we just got...
Ellen,
O.
It's true.
Ellen, you were a half
It's okay,
hour late
it's
to
okay.
the meeting, and you would have understood what was going on.
No, you know what? I wanted to ask Jeff Serenian, who wasn't here today, and that was given to us at 2:55 today.
Actually, you missed the real good part of the discussion, because you were late half an hour.
You were a half hour late.
So you just drew a lot of attention to yourself.
That's fine.
O.
I'm also abstaining. I was at the closed session,
Ellen, it was closed
excuse
session,
me.
But it was closed session. Just
Excuse me.
reminding you whatever we
No,
talked
I
about was
understand
closed
that. I'm
session.
not going to, why are you stopping me from talking?
Because I'm fearful of what you
Excuse
guys
me.
do.
You know what? You don't have to worry about what I'm
Really?
trying to
Did you vote,
say.
Councilwoman?
I'm going to
Just vote.
Okay,
abstain
thank you.
because we weren't given this information until close to 3 o'clock. I mean, we've been getting our agendas and resolutions and ordinances like close to the meeting.
You had the agenda on Friday.
We need time.
You had the agenda on
No,
Friday.
you didn't have this. You didn't have this particular. It wasn't added until later, and we need time to review.
McMorro?
We
The answer
need
is
time
yes.
to review, Anne Marie.
Stop.
She's yes.
It's every month.
Thank you. Thank you,
Every
Gloria.
month.
But you need to talk to the borough clerk about that.
Thank you, Gloria.
Okay?
Borough clerk was on vacation.
So what does that mean?
And even when she's here,
No, she's questioning you.
No, she's not. I wasn't here last week. I was on vacation.
They got an agenda on Friday.
this was added.
At 2:55 today.
That's what happens in life.
It takes about, it takes about 12 minutes to read, okay?
M. Park?
Yes. Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
3 yeses and 3 abstentions.
All right, yes. The abstentions are
Oh, sorry.
Are they kind of as in, right, it's a
It
nothing.
carries on 3.
Just for the record, I'm making a motion that this gets sent to the planning board tomorrow.
I'm sorry, motion?
There's a motion to
Oral
send it,
motion.
yeah, let's do that.
Directing the borough clerk to forward the, ordinance number 1814 to the planning board for consistency, master plan consistency review.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
You want to vote?
Oh, you want to vote? Okay, hold on. 18,
Doing an oral vote.
okay, it was Councilperson McMorro, and second was
Here.
Councilperson Zaversa.
I don't see anything wrong with sending it to planning board for discussion. Even though I abstain, but I just wanted you to understand why.
E. Park?
I abstain.
O.
Abstain.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
Okay, did anybody want to discuss their committees? Did anybody have any old business or new business? Does anybody want to adjourn?
I have one item of new business, just one quick question.
What would that be?
It's about, you already mentioned it inside about, the appropriate authority. I think, I went through some of the, our codes and sections, and I still come up with, Mayor, I know you don't agree, but the appropriate authority, according to our thing, says that the mayor and council, and I still have a problem with one person making all these decisions without consulting the rest of us.
And there is an attorney opinion, so, not from me, from Fred Semra. So let me share, I will prepare something.
Okay, so this is what I saw. It's 48:14-118, section 2-13.3, right?
Yes.
And in that section, it says that it's the mayor and council, or not mayor or council, it's mayor and council.
I understand. So, it's really a legal question that you're asking, and I know, and it's not something that I should opine upon in public.
You don't have to do it here.
Or on the, you know, but there is more to what we're talking about, and yes, the statute plays into it.
Well, because it makes no sense, Henry. Why is the council here if your interpretation is that the mayor can do whatever he wants?
No.
That's not the interpretation. Can I just to be clear?
Closed session on
Just
this.
let the mayor, let the attorney.
Just to be clear,
I think we spoke about that.
ultimately, the council decides, but I get the ball rolling, and I have the authority to do that. And the ball is rolling regarding the charges that were filed today. And I think you could leave here tonight, and everyone in the back there will be proud of how well you handled that, and we're all good, okay?
I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about things in general. See, that's what I mean about it.
And there are a few more things that we should go over, and it really is a closed session discussion. So maybe we'll fit something in on the special meeting, because there may be additional materials. That's, we'll see.
But either way, you tell me to bring them around to interpretation, so it's not on my council.
No, I agree.
But there's also a hearing officer that agreed with me.
Yeah, I don't, and that's why, it just makes no sense to me. What are we doing here then? If
You ultimately get to decide, but I get to start the ball rolling. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're voting on issues. We're not surviving.